Hi there everybody, and welcome to week 53 of the GuitarQuest lessons. So this week we are going to carry on primarily with the Bamba. We're going to work on that a little bit, try and get that finished off, and we're also going to go over probably one of the exercises from GuitarQuest 3, just to kind of use that as a bit of a recap, and then hopefully we'll get through the Bamba and we can get on to some more exercises from GuitarQuest 3 and just general guitar development. So, first of all, thank you for joining, for whoever's watching. And if you've got any devices on that might distract you, then I'd suggest we turn them off. So, you know, emails, social media, that kind of thing. Give ourselves our undivided half an hour's guitar time. If there's any children in the room watching, then I'd suggest as an adult as well, just to help guide through some of the ideas in case they don't quite make sense. Other than that, I think that's pretty much it really. So let's check our tuning to begin with. So this is what your guitar should sound like. So I'm just adjusting my position slightly. So this is our top E. Let's just try and make sure that sounds the same as that, and then B. And then we've got our G. And D. And A, our fifth string. Finally, bottom E. Just get the A, get rid of that. Sorry. So bottom E here. Okay. So hopefully your strings sound the same as that, meaning that you are pretty much in tune. Remember, after you tuned up, it's always a good idea just to strum a couple of chords. Do they sound about right? You know, just double check that kind of thing, because it can be easy to make a mistake and that. So that's always, you always trust your ears. That's the most important thing. So as we work our way through, we've got the chat function going. So if you've got any questions, do feel free to fire away. But let's dive into it. So we are going to do a bit of a warm up with exercise 20 from GuitarQuest 3. It's called Little Brother. It's on page 15. So we've been through this one we've done it for the last 2 or 3 weeks actually now, and I think probably about 3 weeks ago we went through it in a fair amount of detail. So hopefully it's sort of within the comfort zone just about, so that's why we're going to do it as a bit of a warm up. This is a sort of tune as well. I haven't really spoken about this aspect of it, but you could add slowdowns, rallentandos, that kind of thing, in various places. You could have more dynamics than, I mean, I didn't really put any dynamics in. So when you're playing it yourself, for example, you know, the start could be like, maybe just slow a little bit there. Almost have a slightly rushed and then slow down feel again. Quieter, something like that. So feel free to play about with it and you know, try and be as expressive as you can with it. We're just going to play it very straight now, so just start to finish, no slowdowns. You can add some dynamics in if you want. I'm not sure they come across particularly well over the live stream, so I'll just keep it fairly straight as well. Just watch out for the coda. So at the end of the penultimate line we go back for our DSL coda, so we go back to the start of the second line, play the second line again, and then we've got our instruction da coda, so we jump down to the final line and play that to finish off with. So hopefully that makes sense, and let's give it a go. So remember, our first sort of position, if you like, is almost like the C chord stood up a couple of frets. So your third finger's on the 5th fret for the D, middle finger on the F sharp. And we can have that first finger on the D, 2nd string, 3rd fret, just kind of ready for the next bit. So let's give it a go after 4. Okay, good luck everybody. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. across to the G. We're going to go back to that C shape. Going to move that third finger across to the G. Back to the C shape. Again, and add the pinky finger to the 5th fret for the E, back to the C shape there, and the pinky finger's going to go down again for the E, back to the start of the 2nd line. Decoder instructions down to the last line. And pinky down for the E, back to the D, and then we finish on the 5th string 5th fret. Good stuff. Okay, so as I mentioned, we've been through that a few times previously. All the videos are online on my YouTube channel, so if you found that tricky, just go back and check those out, and there's a bit more detail about how to play them and that kind of thing. So yeah, hopefully that went alright. What we're going to do now is move on to La Bamba. So we covered pretty much all of this last week. The main, well, we'll recap a few bits first, but the main thing I'd like to talk about is the chord strumming idea at the end of the 2nd page. So hopefully if you are on the mailing list, you should have had this music, and so you'll know what I'm talking about. But if not, the details are in the description of the video and at the end as well. So do feel free to sign up to that if you want to get hold of the music. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. So we've got our main riff. I'll just play it to you just so you can have a listen. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. And then we've got a bar of rest. So we'll go a little bit slower than that, but let's try it together. So we come in just after, well, it's the and after beat 3. Okay, so here we go. Good luck, everybody. So 1, 2, 3. Rest, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's the intro. Let me know if that's too fast. Just pop a comment in the chat and we can go a bit slower. But because we've done it for a couple of weeks, I'm thinking hopefully that speed's okay, but obviously do let me know. So let's have a look at the verse. So the verse section was a bit of a C chord again. So remembering our C chord, 2nd string 1st fret, our 1st finger, 4th string 2nd with the middle finger, and 5th string 3rd with your 3rd finger. We talked about the C chord in GuitarQuest 3, I think. We've covered it in there anyway, so feel free to check that out if needed. So you don't necessarily need the 1st finger down initially, however, it does help for the next bit, so that's worth bearing in mind. But what we're going to do, and remember this is a sort of a slightly simplified version as well. So we're going to play the C, 5th string 3rd fret, which is what you might describe as the root note of the chord, because it's a C and we're playing a C chord, so the root note being sort of the title note of the chord. So yeah, so we're going to play C, then E and G together, which are 3rd and 4th strings. Then we're going to move these 2 fingers across a string, so from there to the 4th and 3rd strings. We do the same kind of thing again. This time we're going to play the F, which is our root note for our F chord. It's our 4th string, and then we play 2nd and 3rd strings together. So we've got that's our timing for the start of the verse. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then we're going to play open strings. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and those open strings are your second, third, your G and your B. So that's the and after 4 where they come in. We don't play anything on 1, we're going to try and let those notes ring on, and then we're going to go into a bit of a G chord, and the simplest way of doing it is just to put your third finger on the first string, 3rd fret, and strum that pattern. We're going to go up, down, up, down, up, down. So hopefully that kind of makes sense from the music. If you're feeling comfortable with the G chord, you can go into the fuller version of G. We talked about playing it this way as well, so you can see that. So either 3rd finger on the 1st string, 3rd fret, or you move it to the 2nd string, 3rd, and add the pinky down. Both are absolutely fine, so you know, whatever feels comfortable. So if you go for the full version of G, you've got sort of what we're aiming for. So we've got that, then the second line of the verse is sort of the same, but we're going to cut the sound off, and that's in the song where there's some vocals that come in, and then we come back in again with the third line, which is just the same kind of thing. So got C, and a bit of an F, open strings into our G chord, and it goes around a few times. So what we're going to do is play the first line that I've got written there. Let's just play it 6 times. We're only going to do it, let's do it 3 times. Is that going to work? No, let's do it twice. Sorry, so twice on that first line, once on the second line, and then twice on the third line again. And see how we go. So, good luck everybody. This is like a condensed version of the first verse. So, here we go. Okay, so 3, 4. And 2 and 3 and 4. We'll do it again. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Second line. Rest. 2, 3, 4. Last line. Play that line again. Okay, so that's the intro and the verse. If you listen to the song, I think that first line of the verse is played 6 times, then you get the second line, and then the third line is played 3 times. And then we go on to the chorus, so at the top of page 2. Remember last week we talked, there's a couple of notes in brackets there, so they're kind of optional. So if you're feeling confident with your C chord, you can just kind of do something, make the C chord shape. You could strum it, or the notes we've got written there are C, G and C again, so 5th string, 3rd and 2nd. So we could do that, and that's a 2-beat note. So we're going to go 1, 2, exactly the same as before. We're going to move the fingers across, but it gives us a bit of an F chord. That's 3 and 4, and then we've got open strings again, this time strings 2, 3 and 4, and that's the and after 4. So if I just demonstrate, so we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 and. So that's the first part of the chorus, and in the next part it's just kind of the same as the intro really, or a section of it. So we're going to go, should be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that's the idea. So we'll play it together in a second, and then the second line of that chorus is just basically the first bar again, but with some rest at the end rather than that riff there. So let's try it. The chorus is played, the first line's played 3 times, and then we do the second line. So let's have a go at that. We'll play it 3 times, and then on to the second line, and see how we go. So after 4, good luck everybody, here we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So C, 2, F, G, repeat, C, F, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and hopefully that made sense, and you know, that's kind of the majority of the song. So beyond that, so we have, when you listen to the song, you've got the intro, the verse and the chorus, which we talked about. Then you've got another verse which is shorter, it's just the first line of the verse played 4 times. Then there's a solo, and it's just the chorus, the verse chords played, I'm not sure how many times, quite a few, I think it's about 10, but I didn't count very precisely on that. So after the solo, we then go to the interlude, which is basically just the same as the intro, but without the first 3 notes. So let's have a look at the interlude, make sure that's okay. So if I just play it to you, so we go 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so because that would follow effectively the first line of the verse, what I'm going to suggest is, looking at page 1, we would play the first line of the verse, so just do that once, and then we'll go into the interlude. So if I just demonstrate, this is what I mean. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, into the interlude. Okay, so again, hopefully that makes sense. Let's try it, see how we go. Okay, so first line of the verse once, and then into the interlude. And that's pretty much it for the song. So here we go. After 4, so 1, 2, sorry, that's going to be too fast. So we go a little bit slower, sorry. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and to the interlude. Two, 3, 4. So yeah, that's that. Hopefully that makes sense. So after the interlude, you just go back and play that first line of the verse again, another 4 times, then you've got the chorus again, and eventually you just finish on a C chord. Now we're not going to go through the whole song because, well, I was thinking like I could play along with it, but I think there might be copyright issues if I do that, so I'm not going to do that. But why don't we have a go at playing a little bit of it together? We'll see how we go. I'll talk us through it as best I can. So we'll do the intro as written. The verse, when we do it the first time, we're just going to do that first line twice, then the second line, then we do the third line twice, then we go to the chorus, then we're going to go back and play the verse, first line of the verse 4 times. Again, I'll remind you as we go through. Then we're going to do the interlude, then we'll do the verse 4 times, and then the chorus, and we're going to finish on a C chord. At least that is the plan. So I appreciate that might be quite a lot to take in, but just try and listen along, and I'll try and direct as we go, and we'll see how we go. If you watch the video back once it's been uploaded to my channel again, then you can always sort of make a note of the structure we're about to play, and then you know, have it written in front of you so you know which bits we're jumping to. But anyway, I'm going to do my best to remember what I just said. So here we go. We're going to start from the beginning on that intro. So we're going to come in on the and after 3. Okay. So good luck, everybody. Here we go. So 1, 2, 3. Rest, 2, 3 to the verse. Play that line again. last line of the verse. Do that again. Then the chorus. 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and that for the third time. Second line of the chorus. Rest. Back to the verse. 3, 4. We're going to play this first line 4 times. I'm going to slow down a little bit because I think I sped up. This is the third time round. Go to the interlude next. 3, 4. Rest. 2, 3 to the verse again. Do this line 4 times. Last time. Then to the chorus. Do the first line 3 times. It's the third time here. Second line, rest, 2, 3, 4, and then we're just going to finish with a C chord. So that is more or less the Bamba anyway. It's a bit longer, like I mentioned before, this is a kind of a simplified version of it, but hopefully it gives you an idea, at least of the various sections. You can go and listen to the song and hopefully piece it together. Obviously, if you've got any questions, we've got the chat going, so do fire away. But one thing I'd just like to talk about is the F chord, and we sort of mentioned this the other week. So effectively anywhere in the verse or the chorus where I talked about there being an F chord, so for example in the verse, that bit there, so 1, 2, the 3 and, so where we've got the F, A and the C going on, that's our F chord. But to make it a proper F chord, what we're actually going to do is flatten our first finger across 2 strings. So it goes across the F and the C. And that's kind of tricky to do initially, so you just got to try and do your best with it. So you get that finger across there, across 2 strings, middle finger on the A, 3rd string 2nd, and your 3rd finger on the F, 4th string 3rd, and then you can strum the 4 strings. So F, A, C and F. Now that F chord, when you're not used to playing it, is not enormously friendly. That's probably the polite way of putting it. So I think I mentioned last time, what needs to happen is this finger kind of needs to stay flat. I would say try and avoid bending at your first knuckle joint. That's probably not going to come out very clearly, but if you bend at this joint here, you'll probably lose the pressure on the first string. So you've got to try and keep that a bit straighter down to the 2nd knuckle joint, if that makes sense. So try and do that. Then when you put these fingers on, what you'll find is they'll probably slope down a little bit and you get that kind of sound. So you've got to try and get them up on the fingertips without allowing the pressure to leave the first finger. And it's a bit of a balancing act. It can take a bit of a while. You know, the F chord is a bit of a tricky one, but just try and persevere with it, and you will get there. But it might take a bit longer than some of the other chords we played. So the chorus strumming then, or the verse chorus strumming idea, sorry, that we've got at the bottom of page 2 on that handout. It's basically the same kind of thing, but the chords are just going to sound a bit fuller. So we're going to go 1, 2, and on the C, then we move across, flatten the first finger down, down up on the F, and then we switch to a G and do an up strum. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. The bit on the G is exactly the same as before. So I'll just demonstrate that again. So on the C chord then, so we're going to go 1, 2, and change to the F, 3 and 4. Then we change to the G on the and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, so I'll play it again without counting through. So. But a bit slower. So yeah, basically that kind of idea is very interchangeable. So in the verse we could be going, or in the chorus. So you can drop those chords in if you want. The reason I didn't put them in earlier in the main sections that we've been talking about over the last couple of weeks is because that F chord's hard, and so I don't want to kind of, this is a beginner's guitar course, so it's a chord we want to embrace, but it's not one we want to focus on to the extent that it puts you off. That's the worst thing I could do right now is, make you think, oh my god, this is so hard. I'm never going to get the F chord, and then you decide it's not for you. That's mission not accomplished, if you like. So hence doing the slightly easier arrangements so that it makes it a bit more accessible. And then as you progress, maybe a year down the line, you might come back to it and go, oh, do you know what? I can do that F now, and actually I can play that song really easily. So yeah, it gives you sort of an area to build into, if you like. Yeah, that's pretty much it really with the Bamba. So we'll probably run over it again next week, I think, and we'll just try and work our way through the structure like we did today. It'll give you the opportunity to practice that F chord, and then if you're feeling confident, you can try and drop the F chord in, or you can stick with the simpler bits and just sort of see how you go really. Yeah, let me know how you're finding it. I've seen a comment, there's a couple of comments actually have come in. So hello from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So yeah, good to see you. And a comment on the F chord, it's so hard not to bend the first knuckle. Yeah, it is, unfortunately. So and it's not to say there's not going to be a small bend in it. It's not going to be absolutely straight, probably. I mean, it could be maybe, but there might be a little bit. But just to, if I come around there, what you don't want is that, because you're not going to get the pressure on the first finger. So you want to flatten down. The other thing I've seen people do, and you don't want to do this either, just from a developmental point of view, you don't want to do fingers 1 and 2 like that, and then the others like that, just in case you're thinking about it. You might be able to do it and get away with it, but actually, longer term, getting used to the idea of this finger pushing down across a couple or more strings than that is just something that's a lot of guitar playing involves that, and you may see people playing chords like that where the first finger is going across lots of strings. So this is just a little foray into that kind of thing. So good stuff. Anyway, I think that is enough for today. I had hoped actually to get onto another exercise in GuitarQuest 3, but obviously we spent quite a lot of time on the Bamba again, but hopefully you've got the song, you've got the ideas, and hopefully you can play along with it. if you go onto YouTube and go onto the song, you can slow it down to like 3/4 speed or something and try and play this along and see how you go, and let me know. You know, if you're feeling confident, you could even record yourself playing it and share it, tag me in it. It'd be really interesting to see how you're going. But yeah, that aside, I'll be back same sort of time next week, so 6:15 UK time. And yeah, if you enjoyed the video or the lesson today, then please give it a thumbs up. Please share it around with anybody who you think might be interested. Just let them know about it. And all the old classes are on my YouTube channel, so you can go and check that out. And this one will be uploaded, and well, in the next hour or so anyway. So so you can watch it back, go over any bits that you found difficult, and just see if you can get the Bamba down, basically. So yeah, we'll leave it there for this week. So very best luck with your practice. Have a fabulous weekend, and I will look forward to seeing you all next Thursday. Okay, take care everybody. Bye bye.